Hello, Royson, connector of many dots and many dots to connect. This is another message for me until before I go to sleep, my next REM sleep, so I can learn off of this message every time I go to sleep. Also, I'm going to videotape every day I wake up. Every time I wake up, I want to videotape and make a video so I can speak to myself about how the dream was before and after. See how that goes. I have a Bible here, holding a Bible. Right here, I'm just gonna read any random scripture, anything that'll help me, because I feel like I feel probably pretty much sucked out, you know, and I'm trying to get my thoughts together, and the Bible's perfect for that. And the king stood in his place and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul. So with all his soul and all his heart, he's talking about man. All of man has to use all of their soul and all of their heart and gather the two together and put the two together so they can be in sync no matter what, no matter how people force you to be unkind, or how many people try to like mess with you, and know that, you know, you'll let it go. The thing is, if you're letting them do that, then you're not letting it go yourself. And there's a lot more to it, because there's people that do it and they know they can get away with it, and in the end they don't really ever get away with it because it's still in your heart. And then when you can understand your heart and your soul together, you make a pretty the team is just miraculous. I mean, because there's two consciousnesses. There's God, and then there's Christ. There's God, and then there's Christ. You have to go through Christ first, and then you have to put all your heart into it in order to do that. So this is the dream reality. This is the duality reality that we live in. So, and then this is what I said, with all his heart and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant which are written in this book. This book right here, the Holy Bible. What does that say? I wonder. Biblia Holy. Oh, is that like words upside down? Is that like in some other language or something? What does that say to you? I don't know. Another parable put he forth unto. Alright, Matthew 13:16. 24. Verse 24. Let's see if this can help me, because my mind, I need something to clear it up. In the Bible, this is what it's meant for, and this is how we use it. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. This is a random verse. This verse is Matthew chapter 13 verse 16. No, not verse 16, is verse 24. You see, my mind's not right, so I said it wrong. And that said so much to me just right there and there, and I kind of don't want to share that. Yes, I don't. Proverbs. I like this Proverbds book. Alright, random verses here. Random verses, because I get my memory down. And I gotta get back into the Bible too, because there's reasons why I see if you ever get out of the Bible, then you're not strong enough to change reality for the better. And you need to stay in the Bible to actually understand that, because the book of Revelations is all one big dream that the God consciousness had, and this dream was just so terrible that we have to start paying attention to our body as our temple, because that represents the earth. The earth is our temple, and our flesh is the earth, because we came from dust. This is the love of truth. And we have to respect ourselves the best way possible, and that's it, the best way possible. But to know the limit is not to get away with things. It's not to do something and know yet you can get away with it and just do it just for the practices of trying to help your self-esteem. That doesn't work here. That's duality, and this is the body that we're trying to work with, and this is the truth, the end result. This is the end truth. And this I'm gonna just read another verse, any random verse here. Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. So how exactly do you cover your sins? Perhaps you cover your sins by reaching a state of consciousness where where other people around you don't really affect your love inside of your heart, because the love to maintain your heart is to love yourself and understand what you can handle. If you can't handle something, your nerves go up, and if your nerves go up, you cannot deal with it anymore. That's it. But if something is happening that's making you really hard to deal with, it's really hard to really cooperate with this existence, to reach Christ consciousness, this is what it means. It's just to let it go the best way you can, because God is love, and that is it. In fact, Jesus Christ proved that the last days was finished when he died on the cross, because Jesus Christ is the closest thing we have to Christ consciousness, which is under God consciousness. And Christ consciousness, there will always be a Christ consciousness. Go with Emmanuel. Back in the day, it was Emmanuel. No, Emmanuel. It wasn't Emmanuel, but Emmanuel is the prophecy that they gave to about Jesus. And Emmanuel is willing to take all of the things that hold you down. And what holds you down is your body. It is yourself. It's your inner being. And in order to create your inner being, you must know thyself. Let's see. Any random verse here? Let's see. 2 Chronicles 13:11. This is a pretty long one. And they burn unto the Lord every morning and every evening burnt sacrifices and sweet incense. The shewbread also set they in order upon the pure table, and the candlestick of gold with the lamps thereof to burn every evening. For we keep the charge of the Lord our God, but ye have forsaken him. See, when back in the days within Israel, see, this is a real existence that the earth went through. You see, and to understand and grasp what the earth is trying to tell you, the earth is trying to tell you all of its experiences. And then in the past, there were real people in Israel that the few had to suffer for the more, because they loved each other. So then they knew how the world was already at that time. And then the best way they could deal with it is if they had if God came back in their eyes. It has to be in their eyes, though. And once they reached Christ consciousness, then all the ones that reached Christ consciousness went up with Christ, and all the ones that stayed here in duality just stayed here in duality. And most of them were basically the people in Israel that didn't really make it. So they switched time and made another time zone, which is a fallen reality, and the reality is going into Lemuria, and after that was Atlantis. And these are things that are encrypted in our minds, that we are able to use them if we want to. We are able to use those cryptic things in mind. But if we use them, then we got to use our own Christ consciousness in us. But we can't forget what Jesus did for us. That's an experience that we cannot handle ourselves. So we have to understand how to give, how to love our temple, because that's basically what we did to our temple. When you think about how you can't handle something just because somebody else in the world probably can't handle it, that means you have a fear in your mind that doesn't want to become reality, and you have to settle for all of your lives and understand, just put it all in Emmanuel. Emmanuel is your inner savior. Emmanuel is the love in your heart. Emmanuel. This name is cryptic. In fact, this name, if you look it up in numerology and you look it up in all of that, it's just something that came to my mind just now. That's all it was. And I feel that Emmanuel has encrypted codes, the name and the pronunciation of it, that can only bring out a certain frequency that people can catch if you say it the right way. You're not going to say Emmanuel. You're going to say Emmanuel, or something like that. It's a code where if you understand how to use your throat chakra, because the throat is just covered with a lot of mucus if you don't use your nose properly, and then eventually when you get sick, it'll just come up to your nose, and then you have to let it out somehow. Or everything in the body is basically liquid, and then mucus basically connects what's matter to liquid. So basically the opposite of that is anti-something, like antimatter perhaps. So as I go on understanding this, let's go to the book of Job here. Job. You see, I can come up in any any verse in this Bible, and it can help me a certain way, like any verse, because I feel so good right now, and I feel like I'm having so much fun doing this. It's just so interesting. Oh, I forgot that I was on the book of Job. Oh well, here's Psalm 42 verse 9. I will say unto God, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? Why go I mourning because of the oppression of the enemy? This is basically me. I have to pay attention to my heart and what I'm trying to say. My heart led me to this verse. So the way I'm understanding this is I'm letting my fears get to me. I'm letting my dream state, or maybe REM sleep of some sort, get to me. Where I have the REM sleep is when you sleep and you don't have any control of your eye movements. But once you have control of your eye movements, then that's basically the first sense. That's your third eye first forming up within your dream. And then after your third eye forms up, then if you're paying attention to your body, paying attention to everything at the same time, then your dreams will be much more clear and much more vivid, and no matter what, you cannot break out of that reality, because that's the reality that you placed to save yourself, to save your soul, to have a stronger ego, because that's what we all want, to know and understand our own place. We can't take other people's places ever. That'll get us to be dark. That'll darken our hearts, and when our heart's dark, what's inside will reveal on what's on the outside. It will reveal it, and there's no getting away from it. There's never getting away from it. So I learned a lot off of that verse. Alright, here's Proverbs chapter 5 verse 23. I'm just going to any random verses here. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. You see, you have to understand how the mind works here. The mind is meant to confuse you, and if you're confused, then you won't get it right. You have to understand that people are literally trying to do things that they can get away with, and they will always do that. You have to put them in there. If you don't put them in your place, you lose yourself. You have to place everything in a judging order, but do not judge their own conscious path. You have to go within your own conscious path, because that's what you're revealing to yourself at that very moment to help you. Everything is meant to help you. Everything, especially in young kids, must realize some things quick, or things won't go an expected route. There are certain things that will happen and are destined to happen, but you can break that chain, the chain that your body puts on you. Pay attention to your dead skin. Pay attention to your body and how you want to treat it. Groom yourself. Do what you can to maintain your inner peace, because that's what it is. Your love and your heart. If you maintain your heart, then you maintain the rest of your body. If your heart is well and not stressed at all, if you're okay, then that's it. That's the reality of the truth. That's it. You've done it. Now, the best way to do it as of now is just to scratch everything that's making you confused, and just understand that the first thought you had is not based on fear. It's based on your inner understanding of the moment. And when the moment changes, just go along with the flow of your heart. Go along, because when you try to stop emotions from going on, when you try to stop it, it gets to a point where it doesn't really relate to what you were thinking about in the first place, because then a fear comes up, and fear is always going to be a blockage. You have to get through the Christ to understand how the love works, because everything is love. Everything, you have to love your body and all that you can do, and you must support it. This is your body and what you need to handle. Alright, here's Psalm 119 Psalm 119. I'm read right here I'm reading verses 137 through 144, and let's see what that tells me. Righteous art thou, O Lord, and upright are thy judgments. Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous and very faithful. My zeal hath consumed me, because mine enemies have forgotten thy words. Thy word is very pure, therefore thy servants loveth it. I am small and despised, yet do not I forget thy precepts. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delights. The righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding, and I shall live. Understanding my heart is understanding what I can and cannot handle. If I wanna handle something to increase my ego, then I'm going to be forced to do that, because that's what the dirt wants to do. The dirt wants to be worth something to you. It wants to make it, but you have to manifest it and give it a position. Hold on one second. I gotta catch my thoughts together. My thoughts. Hold on one second. I couldn't catch my thoughts, and I had something to say, but I couldn't say it. Alright. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared God, and eschewed evil. Uz. Now, Uz, can it be categorized as a civilization back in the days of Israel? I mean, Israel was the actual reality, right? But was it really Sodom and Gomorrah like that? That really hold up, something told me to go to Sodom and Gomorrah to see something about Sodom and Gomorrah. But hold on, in fact, let me not go into the Bible for this and check what I already know. It was a land that was too evil to be penetrated by the dirt, and the earth didn't like it, so a huge flash came there. What if those people, what if Israel chose, what if half of Israel, look, there's two parts of the heart. What if half of Israel chose evil and the other half chose good, and in the middle was Jesus Christ? And then everything else was just a timeline. Everything was just a timeline of your own consciousness when you decided to come in here and find yourself. You want to understand who you are. Quit judging, quit not understanding the truth, and get with the picture. Love the truth, because you know deep down inside what the truth is. It does not have to be explained to you to a point where you'll get bored with it, because that means your fear is getting in front of that, and you're not letting yourself get the love and knowledge that you want to know. And this will always stay with you. It'll stay with you all the time. And when you listen and hear and really get the picture of a true character within your own eyes, that's when you can understand that things are the way they're meant to be. Alright, how about when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki with the nuclear bomb? They stopped the world war, right? Now what if all that happened at the same time, but God somehow stopped the world war at that time? What if it wasn't what if someone's consciousness grasped onto the chain at that time, just for that moment, when they discovered how to do things with technology? And what if extraterrestrials do that? What if Sodom and Gomorrah was actually that? What if the sun did a solar flare and everything was wiped out except for Sodom and Gomorrah, simply because they did not do things right, and now they have to recreate a reality, recreate a grid so that it can hold? And what if the first consciousness to do this was Emmanuel, la 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 la, Emmanuel? Like the name is like, it's fun saying it. It's fun saying the name Emmanuel, because it will always hold your understanding of your actual voice and what you want to portray in your actual life. Like, my voice is becoming itself at this time, because I'm letting go of my throat, and then I'm putting pressure on my chest a bit. And then this this action will strengthen the rib cage in a form that will allow you to speak the way you desire without any stress. But now look what I'm doing to my body. I'm putting stress inside of my body to actually place this understanding in a true form or way. But I am what I am, for this is what it is. Since I had a dream about the revelations, that's why it's going to happen that way, with my intelligence, with my focus, and what I want to do with my body, for my body is my temple. My body is my love. So, what did Jesus Christ do with his temple? He understood that one side was doing something wrong, and then the other side was doing the same. And then it got to a point where he was the only one doing it the right way. When he had to go to another civilization in China, he had to go to Tibet, because that was the place where the grid was most powerful, the grid of Earth. And then the grid will be most powerful in the places imaginably understandable to the people that understand their own hearts. So you place yourself in a reality with the right family that understands you, with the right love that will gratify your understanding of what love is, instead of Christ's understanding of what it's God's understanding of what your life is, because Jesus already have done it all. Jesus have done everything. Jesus is only asking for help, and none of his disciples helped him, which is why we tend to do damage to our temple, because we are not receiving the type of love that we ought to be receiving to our temple, to our hearts. And to understand that, really, the young baby has to understand that there is different understandings, and to get to a point where you just relax and then you switch your voice somehow, and then things just cooperate together with your fears, understanding what you can handle, understanding what you cannot handle, understanding that you can rant for hours upon hours upon hours upon hours, and then you can your heart just goes bop, boom, boom, and then you make your heart's rhythm with your rib cage. Relax and breathe. There's people that have asthma simply because they don't know how to breathe right, and that's where the sickness comes from. It comes from not being able to understand how to breathe, because you feel so much pressure from the earth, how people around you are treating the earth, because they're your inner being that you have to pay attention to. And REM sleep includes your own reality. So you're going to include a reality that has things set and straight in a way that will progress everything to the truth. And that's the truth that will set you free. It is your truth, your body. And you have to figure out a way to find your own balance. If you don't figure out a way to find your own balance, then you'll always be at the bottom, where other people are literally trying to find the balance themselves, and they have to go through certain experiences, so they're going to come to you for them. They're going to try to understand themselves through you, and you're going to be forced to show them their own reflection and how things work, and how they want to cooperate, and how they want to understand things the way they don't, because that's just it. It's the love, and it's the trust, and how much you are going to trust in somebody to love their own heart. Just read whatever. Energy. John, just read another random verse. John chapter 7 verse 50. Nicodemus saith unto them, he that came to Jesus by night, being one of them. So there's more people that are kind of like Jesus. Let me say kind of. How can I put this? There's people within Emmanuel, and Jesus Christ, like God consciousness. I'll just put that category within Emmanuel, and then Christ consciousness is just Jesus Christ, and that's basically loving your temple, your flesh, because in the golden age, There was literally somebody that had to go through the worst pain, but that was that was only one person. There was one golden age before this age. Now, when we reach the golden age again, which is an entire loop within number 8, because right now number 8 is not asleep right now. Number 8 is up, because that's how you perceive number 8. But when you let number 8 goes to sleep, it'll be the number infinity. And these thoughts correspond together because you can explain them, right? And that's how you ought to do things. Explain things right from your heart, and then understand why your fears come up. Now let me go through another verse here, another verse. Now there's people that reach Christ consciousness, but not the people that are Jesus Christ. There's a difference. That's the epistle of Paul, the apostle to the Romans. What shall we say then that Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found? For if Abraham, so everything is from Abraham the father, because Abram is the father of man. So that's the lineage of Adam, because everything comes from Adam. But Eve is Adam's rib, and that means Adam couldn't have treated Eve right. If he wasn't treating his rib right. If he wasn't treating his rib right, but he wanted to find out how to treat his rib right, so he created anything he wanted to. He had to use creativity to satisfy himself. So how exactly does that work within consciousness? So that means the dirt came first. All existences are together, and it's your choice if you want to connect them or not. They're all dots that you have to find yourself with, and you literally have to find yourself with whatever way that you have to, and you have to put a limit on basically everything, but you don't have to judge it. You have to put a limit on it, and to limit your heart is the literal satisfaction of understanding that your mind will incorporate. It's your brain, your frequencies. How can you explain this? Alright, I got like 4 more minutes left. Let's see a good verse. Let's see. I was looking for Job, but there's Job. Job chapter 16, verse 21. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleadeth for his neighbor. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return. So God is literally trying to say that he is the earth. God is the dirt, and that's what we are treating him like. He started off with a rib cage, and then he had to expand from that. He had to be creative. His whole body rests. Not the rib cage. Oh, darn it, not the rib cage. It's the ribs. And because females have men have less ribs than women do, and it's whoa, it is highlighted. This verse is highlighted. Let me read it. It's from Psalms 35. Psalm 35. No, 36. I gotta remember that. Psalms 36 verses 5 through 12. Let me read them all to see what they say. Thy mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens, and thy faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. Thy righteousness is like the great mountains. Thy judgments are a great deep. O Lord, thou preservest man and beast. How excellent is thy loving kindness, O God. Therefore the children of men put their trust under the shadow of thy wings. So this is God talking. So no matter how you see it, you're in this time in reality, because you are in an existence where you are literally using the dirt. You've got to understand yourself. You've got to understand who you are. I'm gonna read the rest of the verse. Well, the verse is, for with thee is the fountain of life, in thy light shall we see light. And you have to be the light to see the light. Alright, and now continuing. Oh, continue thy loving kindness unto them that know thee, and thy righteousness to the upright in heart. Let not the foot of pride come against me, and let not the hand of the wicked remove me. Pride. How much are you willing to put pride in front of your face so that you can put it into the dirt? Ego, right? Rib cage? No, not the rib cage. I keep messing that up in my mind. Ribs. Your ribs. Isn't the rib like the most important part of the body, kinda, or? My energy. I'm not getting enough energy. Not getting enough energy. I need more energy. Song of Solomon. Whether is no chapter 6. In fact, I was just start reading the Bible myself and just stop talking.